Okay, next bit. So they were just having their lunch, remember? After a dessert of creamy coconut and passion flower ice cream, sounds pretty good, Echo and Horace meandered back through sleepy palms before descending from the treetop walkways to Amberjack Bay, where the Scarlet Margaret was moored. Do you know what the word moored means? Moored is used for boats, and it means that's where it's parked. You don't park boats, you moor them. There you go, something new. Horace gazed up in wonder at the great floating airship swaying gently above the sand. I still can't believe this is your home, he said. Doesn't it feel weird sleeping up there all the time? Not really, Echo shrugged nonchalantly. Nonchalantly, that's another good word as well. If you are nonchalant, it means that you just take it for granted. You're just like, oh, that's totally okay. Everything is okay. It's totally nonchalant. It's like not serious. But secretly, her heart swelled with pride. At first, I felt a bit airsick every now and then, she admitted. But I guess I'm used to it now. I'm a sky pirate. It must be good to finally spend lots of time with your mother, said Horace. Echo shrugged. In truth, Captain Little had been so busy lately that Echo had barely seen her, let alone spent time with her. She brushed away the little wave of sadness that rolled over her and put on a smile. It's been great. Anyway, let's get your suitcase on board. She shouted up to Flora, who leaned over the side of the ship and flung down a rope. Echo swiftly tied the end to Horace's luggage and gave a whistle to let Flora know to drag it up. The pair followed up the rope ladder. Echo sprang over the side onto the deck. Horace came tumbling after her, landing face first with a clank. Ouch, he said, retrieving a jar from inside his pocket. I forgot. Professor Tigerwing sent this for you. How is the professor? Asked Echo, examining the strange jar. And the cats? And Mrs. Milkweed? And what exactly is this? It's pickled something, said Horace, wrinkling his nose. I wouldn't eat it if I were you. They made their way down to the cabins, and Horace unpacked his things. Come and see the crow's nest, said Echo, hauling him back up to the deck. Are you sure? Said Horace, craning his neck up to gaze at the mast top. It looks very high. It's perfectly safe, said Echo. Just follow me and don't look down. She sprang onto the rigging. Rigging is all of the ropes that make nets and ropes for climbing on boats. She pulled herself upwards, hand over hand, on the rough ropes. At first, she'd found it almost impossible to climb all the way to the crow's nest. But as the weeks on the Scarlet Margaret had passed, it had become easier and easier. See, that's because she's practicing. Now it seemed like the most natural thing in the world to be up there, sea breeze blowing in her hair and breathing in the salt brine and crisp, cool air. She turned and looked down. Horace was still at the bottom of the rigging. Are you okay? She shouted. Yes. Horace took a wobbly step and clung to the ropes for dear life. Just take it slowly and keep going. The view's worth it. Echo scrambled up the last few meters of rigging and heaved herself onto the crow's nest. Gilbert sprang from her shoulder onto the wooden edge and peered down at Horace. Just a little bit further, called Echo as Horace grimly made his way hand over hand up to them. She pulled him in and he sat, panting, with his head between his knees. See, it wasn't so bad, was it? Echo grinned. Horace got his breath back and stood. Wow, what a view, he said. There's the aero deck, said Echo, pointing at the tiny landing strip where an airship hovered. And is that a volcano? Horace waved at a squat mountain in the distance. Mount Flameflux, Echo said. We passed it on our way here. Almost singed our sails. Horace glanced down at the Margaret's sails as if to check them for scorch marks. Then he pointed at Amberjack Bay. "What are all those holes in the sand?" he asked. "Oh, that's where we were digging for treasure," said Echo. "Treasure?" Horace's eyes widened as he goggled at her. "Really and truly?" "We didn't actually find anything, but still, treasure hunting. You're a real sky pirate, Echo." "Well, not really." Echo flushed with pleasure and stared at her boots. "Come on," she said after a moment. "We'd better get back on deck." But as she climbed down the rigging, she couldn't help smile to herself. She might not have a cutlass or a tricorn hat like Flora, but Horace was right. She was a real sky pirate, or certainly on her way to becoming one soon. Chapter 3. Let's read the first bit of Chapter 3, will we? Okay. Chapter 3. Echo and Horace clambered back down the rigging and jumped onto the deck of the Scarlet Margaret. They dodged Flora, who was busily sloshing soapy water across the wooden boards and mopping them vigorously, and wandered over to the stern of the ship, where Bulkhead could be seen in the captain's quarters, hunched over a chart with his sextant. Did you learn what a sextant is in the last book? A sextant is a tool that pirates and anybody else that is living on the sea would use to get their navigation, so to find where they're going. It's like ancient GPS. "How does the Scarlet Margaret float?" mused Horace as he looked down at the beach below. "I've always wondered. Professor Daggerwing's ship had a balloon filled with lifting gas and an engine, and so did the ship I came in from Old Port Tribrillion. But this one just has sails." Echo followed his gaze. Horace had a point. How did the ship float? The wind made them sail along, but what kept them up? She frowned. "I've never really thought about it." Gilbert squinted up at the sails himself and curled his tail into a question mark. "You two look confused," said Bulkhead as he emerged from the captain's quarters. "Something's got your tethers in a tangle." Horace was just wondering, said Echo, not wanting to admit that she didn't know either, how the ship floats. "Simple," Bulkhead said. "Cloud ballast." "Cloud ballast?" said Echo. "What's that? Ain't you ever wondered what all the rumbling down below decks is?" I thought it was the engines." "Nope. We're all wind-powered," he grinned. "Come on, my hearties, follow me and see for yourselves." Ha! And that is where we finish today. We're going to learn about cloud ballast tomorrow. Good night, Baba. I love you. Catch these kisses. Okay, and one for me. Gotcha. Oh, no. Good night. Sweet dreams.